Hi, everyone. You've decided to move to Costa Rica. Now comes an important question. What do you bring with you? What do you leave behind?
Join us in this episode as we go through how we made these decisions and give you things to consider when beginning your own journey in relocating. Welcome to
Poly in Paradise. When we decided that we were going to pull that proverbial trigger and move to Costa Rica, one of the questions that popped up immediately was, what do we take? For a poly household of 3 adults at the time, this was no small question. We had a 3-bedroom house in St. Louis, Missouri, full of things, including all the articles that Brandy had brought with her. I still had a storage unit full of things in Fairbanks, Alaska. And to top it all off, there was the cabin in Wisconsin, a 38-foot toy hauler, a truck, and 2 cars.
Step 1 is consolidation. You have to know what you have before you can decide what to do with it. So the 3 of us and my son took an extended working vacation, driving the truck and RV all the way from St. Louis up to Alaska. This was during COVID, and we crossed the border into Canada literally the day after the border was opened to U.S. citizens.
The trip itself was an adventure of a lifetime. Who knows, it may be the subject of a future video. But for the purposes of this video, we made it to Alaska and did the first of our several sortings. I had paid for the storage unit for almost 8 years since I had moved from Alaska. So we went through the unit and sorted things out into 5 areas. Give to my oldest son, who still lived in Alaska. Sell. Give away to friends or charity. Pitch it into the trash. Or finally, take it back to Missouri in the toy hauler.
James had already gone through his items before deciding to store them, so making these decisions again was not easy. Still, some things were easier than others. Like there were a few pieces of furniture that his son took, but very little because he already had a house full of furniture. Most of the books went sold to a secondhand dealer. James is a former librarian and self-professed bibliophile, but digital libraries are a lot easier and lighter to carry when you are moving overseas. And physical books don't tend to do well in the warm, moist climate of the tropics, unless you have a really good dehumidified place to store them.
A local thrift store got a lot of the remaining items. Receipts from those donations did help out a lot during that year's tax season. Take pictures of what you're donating and keep a list with estimated evaluations. It was a good thing we had the truck. It made those trips to the thrift store a lot easier. And there were some items that just after years of storage just weren't even accepted by the thrift store. The dumpster at the storage yard got filled several times.
Finally, that left what we were going to take back to Missouri at the toy hauler. That meant we were limited by space and weight as to what could come. We had done a pretty good job making decisions earlier, but the cubic footage of the toy hauler plus the total weight that it could haul meant there were still some more hard decisions to be made. Luckily, we had made some overall criteria that served us well for this part as well as later, such as, did it cost more to replace than to ship? Was it unique and something that had a lot of special meaning? Was it small and light? Anything that answered yes to those 3 questions went in the toy hauler. If it was a no on any of those, then it was questionable.
Another factor was whether or not the items could cross international borders. For example, Canada has very strict regulations concerning firearms. I chose to pack a few firearms, long arms like shotguns and rifles that I had inherited that were special to me. Some items, like handguns, had to be shipped separately. Others went to my son in Alaska or were sold.
Our other, now former partner, had to fly back to Missouri shortly after we arrived in Fairbanks in order to start a temporary job, along with my son, who was about to start the 8th grade. So it was up to James and I to drive all the way back to Missouri in between work shifts in the loaded down toy hauler. Hey, the leaf spring bracket only broke once on the trip back. We went first to the cabin in Wisconsin and dropped off most of the load there.
Once we returned home to St. Louis, we started on the classification of what we had left. Everything went into separate lists. Sell, give away, take to the cabin, take to the Costa Rica in the future in a container shipment, or take to Costa Rica right away. Each of these lists had separate elements that we had to consider. We didn't need that specific item. If it wasn't of personal significance to one of us, or frankly, if it was cheaper to replace it in Costa Rica instead of transport it there, they went into those first two lists. Purchasing things in Costa Rica, especially electronics and appliances, will be the subject of a future video about the Golfito duty-free zone.
For the items to sell, sometimes it was worth the work to sell the items. This list included for each item when we would sell it, the description, how we would sell it, who was going to be responsible for selling it, and what we were hoping to get for it. This included everything from major items like our home, our RV, our truck, our newer car, to much smaller items. For example, that newer car was sold to Carvana, and they picked it up at the hotel near the airport where we spent the night in before leaving for Costa Rica the next day. And previous challenges with selling or renting a property had us worried about that aspect. So we sold our house to a company that allowed us to rent it back from them until we were ready to move. Our RV was sold after our Alaskan trip, but it ended up being a scam and an additional stressor we definitely didn't need on top of everything else. We got the RV back, with most of its items still there, but were unable to sell it before we moved.
For items to give away, some just weren't the hassle to try to sell them. Like the sell list, the list included when we would give it away, how we'd give it away, whom it would go to. My youngest son happily accepted the older car. There were some friends who were very happy to help find a home for whatever liquor was left over at our house. This group again included most of our books. These that we took were either exceptionally important personally or impossible to replace with electronic versions. Suffice to say, we bought a lot of electronic versions. Inexpensive kitchen appliances either fit into this list or in the list going to the cabin to replace older versions there.
For items destined to stay at our cabin, we decided to keep our cabin of 40 acres in Wisconsin. It was our storage area for items we wanted to keep, our staging area for things to come later to Costa Rica via shipping container, and our backup home, a place we'd still have in the US if things went sideways in Costa Rica. If it was an item we could use at the cabin, it definitely went there. If items had a personal significance to one of us and wasn't on the short list of things to bring to Costa Rica, then it likely went to the cabin as well.
Then there were the things on the take to Costa Rica in the future list. There were a list of things that we wanted to take to Costa Rica, but were just too big, too heavy, or just not possible to take with us on the plane down. For example, each of us had an e-bike. Those couldn't go on the plane, or at least their batteries couldn't. All of those things went to our cabin. Luckily, we have a large metal building on the property. That got filled up tight. Eventually, we bought a 20-foot shipping container to pack things into for later transport to Costa Rica. once we get our residency, and we can ship them in without having to pay import fees.
And finally, for items to take to Costa Rica right away, this was the most important and obviously shortest list. There were the 3 of us. The 2 Scottish Terriers were on that list, of course, having lost our cat and Chihuahua in the years leading up to our move. Beyond that, anything on this list had to be something that would be not available or cost prohibitive to repurchase in Costa Rica. Something where the quality we had was high, or if only lower quality items were available in Costa Rica. Something we need immediately, or shippable. Not too large, not too heavy, or illegal to take with us.
The Take to Costa Rica list then got split up into which piece of luggage it would go into. We ended up purchasing the largest rolling totes we could get shipped with us on the plane. 6 of them. We also had our scuba diving bag, a portable refrigerator freezer, the crates for each of the dogs, 2 pieces of personal luggage each, our individual backpacks, and an individual item. That was obviously a lot of luggage.
So what made the list to come with us on that initial flight? Electronics, such as our laptops, PS5, monitors, camera, etc. Expensive kitchen appliances, like our KitchenAid stand mixer with all of those attachments, our Ninja blender, and our Instapot. High quality bedding, towels, and linens like that. Personal items that would be challenging to ship to Costa Rica. These items range from used shoes to more adult items. And clothes. Good quality that would fit this climate. Especially items that would be hard to find in Costa Rica. For example, James's shoes are 11Es, which are very hard to find here.
Determining what went into each list was not easy. We spent months of conversations about where different things would go, what we get rid of, etc. A lot of things shifted from one list to another up until the last minute. We ended up moving a lot of material from Missouri up to the cabin in Wisconsin. Finally, we headed to the airport in St. Louis, the first leg on our move to Costa Rica. How we got there, the difficulties we found, the airlines we used, and more will be discussed in our upcoming How video. So, hit that bell if you want to be notified of when we post that and other videos. Thanks for liking, subscribing, all those things. And join us next time on Poly in Paradise.
Hi there, YouTube. Hope you're enjoying our content. Don't make Max sad, so please like and subscribe to follow us on our adventures.